Hello everyone, welcome to another session. This is Sanyukta Saxena and today we will be taking our journey a little further. We'll be using another tangle string today. So today the string that we are going to use is basically the grit of the tangle twirl. Yes. So what I'm going to do is basically start with a square in the center, somewhat the center of this tile. You don't have to exactly find the center, yeah. And then I'm going to extend this line to the facing side like this, and that becomes our string for today, yeah. So let's get started. First I'm going to ink my string. Yes, so I'm using my black pen micron. I'm going to add bold lines here so that my string is discrete and visible here, because the string is the center of attraction in this series. So I am basically not wanting my string to get lost. In fact, it should show. Yeah. Otherwise, basically the string is just something that goes seamless in your finished tile. You don't generally ink it as far as Zentangle is concerned. However, this series is a little different in the sense that the string is the attraction of our tile. Yeah. So I've added another aura in this square here because I want to highlight it more. Now in these sections it is up to us how many further sections we want to create, or we just want to add one tangle, right? So I'm just going to add two more lines, add an aura. Again, the purpose is my tangles don't intermingle and they show discrete. So I've created three sections here. If you want, you can add a thin aura here also. Yes. Again, just mark roughly and then three sections, thin auras, double lines there like this, right? You can extend this also. Again, I'm going to create these sections in all the four sides. Small sections. If you want to create only two sections, up to you. You can just draw one line in between, right? So that's entirely your choice. How do you want to go about it? Yeah. Now let's get to tangling. So what I'm going to do is add a flower in between. So it can be any flower. We know so many flowers in Zentangle. So I'm going to add Diva Dance flower again. So this is Diva Dance rock and roll version. Yeah. So start with a spiral in the center and then just keep adding auras and these bold inked portions in between wherever you feel like. And then keep extending the aura, keep adding the inking like this. Slowly, take your time. So you can add any other flower in between, whichever you want to. So many flower tangles as far as the Zentangle is concerned. You can add something else if you want. So yesterday also we used one version of Diva Dance. Yes, in the 5 tile. That was more or less straight, the waltz version. I have done an entire series on this tangle Diva Dance, so you might want to have a look if you are new to this tangle. couple of sessions that I did on different ways you use the Tangle Diva dance. Yeah. So I'm just extending my flower, adding auras, adding these bold inked sections, extending the aura. Yeah, that was one side. Again, you can continue in the same fashion. Keep adding auras, keep adding this bold inked portions in between. Take your time, slowly fill up the entire inner space. You want, you can redo the inside aura to add a little more weight to the line inside. Yeah, and now the rest of the sections, so many tangles to choose from. You can put different tangles in all, or you can stick to a few. Yeah, so let's start with Duda. Lines coming from both sides, going to about more than half of the distance of the line from the other side, 3/4 of the distance. You can add close lines, you can add lines at a little more distance, whichever way you like it. Please feel free to draw it your way. Yeah, so that's the Tangle Duda, and I'm going to do the same for all. In between section, probably we will go with plain mocha, and then so that's mocha. Again, you can change the side or you can add all in the same fashion. Very nice border tangle to draw mocha in this fashion. Looks really nice. Yeah. And these sections can be filled up with flux, one or two, any number you want. Yeah. You can insert one or two orbs here. And the rest of the section can be inked. Yeah, some bit of inking always adds. So just take your time. Slowly go to these empty sections. And slowly fill up the in-between spaces. You can see how your mocha pops up. It adds so much. The black background. Yes. And in the third section, you can either repeat the Duda or you can add some other tangle. I'm going to repeat Duda here because I feel like you can add wood, you can add so many tangles to choose from, fragments. So there are many aura based tangles, and each of these tangles can be used as a string, and their auras can be used to add different tangles. Yeah, so this is one I'm showing you, and I will also show you another grid in the same session, so you can try using probably the same set of tangles or some other tangles in that grid. Yeah, so that's one side. Now if you want, you can add a little bit of uh, ink, or what we say, weight at the end of the lines, so that will add to the look of your Duda also. If you don't wish to, you can leave it as such. Yeah, so I'm going to continue like this, do the same exercise for all the four sides, and then we'll shade. You can draw at your own pace. This tangle twirl or stoic is a beautiful grid, and you can use it in so many different ways, and it looks really nice when shaded. Yeah. So I'm still continuing in the same fashion. I've already added Duda, as you can see here, and I'm adding Muka to the last section. Two Mukas in a pair, both the heads touching this line. And then you can add some flux in between. And an orb here, if you have spaces there. Yeah, and then ink the rest of the space. So I think, used this grid couple of times earlier also. It's a very interesting grid, but I'm using it here again. It's a tangle, and it has an interesting grid, so you can always use it in different ways with different set of tangles. Yeah. So that's about the tangling. Now let us go to shading. So the inside section you can highlight. So I'm going to darken the edges. Add really dark graphite there. Yes. Duda generally on both sides. Always a good idea. Both ends. And the same I'm going to do for Mocha also, since I'm basically shading them as borders. However, I'm going to add some really thick graphite here, like this, and then do the same process on the rest. Try not to add too much, because again adding some thick graphite here. Because the lines seem to be going under. This grid is such. And then again some thick graphite here. Take your time, slowly. Yeah. So let us now blend. So I'm pulling the graphite away from the edges, however, keeping the ends a little darker than the rest. Like this. Yes, because this will give a 3D kind of an effect. Moving on to our Duda. So I'm not going to blend too much. Make sure you just use the tip and just soften the graphite. Don't blend too much. Just a light touch there. Take your time, slowly go to each. And just blend the graphite. Yes. Now that you have blended it, now you can go to this thick graphite that you've added here and just soften it. So we have not added it here, so we need to add some here also. So this is to give the effect of the lines going under. Yes. So that's why we are darkening those areas wherever there are overlaps. Like this. Yeah, so if you have a brush pen handy, gray brush pen, then you can also re-emphasize it a little more with your brush pen. So it will add a little extra darkness there. Or you can skip this part and do it just with your graphite. Yeah. Now comes the chalk. So we can highlight the center with chalk. If you want, you can add little bit of jelly roll. That's optional, again, like this. Yeah, so that's the stoic or the twile grid. Yes. Now there's another simple grid that you can use. Again, it is a tangle, and you can again use your choice of tangles in that grid. I'll just show you. So this tangle is called Spoolies, right? I had also done this tangle in my Tangles by CZT session. So you just start with this fescue kind of a shape, and then you keep adding auras. Now it is up to you how do you add those auras. So if you keep the auras thick enough, then it gives an opportunity to you to add further tangles in between, right? So it automatically becomes a grid. So I am drawing the grid in front of you. Yeah, and then you have to add, I think, 2 more auras and fill up the entire space. So the thickness of auras is as per your suitability, how you want it. And then finally one more aura there, which will not show, which will hardly show. And this becomes a grid again. Yes, you can double line the grids and then fill up tangles of your choice. So this becomes a caviar inside. And if you want, you can add a double line here also. Just add an aura. Like this. And then ink the grid. And so that the tangles that you use are separate from each other, you can always add another aura. So you can use the same for sand swirl. Sand swirl is another tangle which is drawn in somewhat similar fashion, just that the auras do not meet here, they stay separate, but they can also be used as this tangle, sand swirl, can also be used as a grid tangle, as a string. Yes. So this again looks very interesting when you shade. I'm just drawing the string in front of you to show you how to do it, and I will not draw the tile in this session. I will draw it separately and show it to you in the next session, probably when we draw another tile. So take your time. If you wish to, you can draw this tile also using the grid that I am showing you, using this string. And the last one, which is almost hidden, not visible, right? So when you highlight, again here the lines are going under, so when you highlight, add dark graphite at this place, then it gives a really nice look, right? So I'll complete this tile but not record it. Yeah, I'll see you in the next session. Must sign, put in your chop, sign and date your tile. So I don't see a place to put my chop, so probably I'll have to place it here. Sign and date your tile. Right? I shall see you again in the next session. Till then, have a good time. Bye-bye.